show you all about a formula combination that I use very often to identify intersections of data. So what you see here is I'm able to assess the likes for various YouTubers based on their country and the categorization of the video. So here we're looking at beauty, dancing, wellness, and so on. So I took this raw data and provided a branded, detailed, professional summary of the likes, again, by country and topic. So I'm gonna show you how I did this step by step. We're also gonna take a look at that formula combination, and we're gonna review it in detail so that you too can duplicate scenarios like this on your various projects. Step number 1. So I started with some raw data of YouTuber stats. So we're looking at the username for the YouTuber, their category, number of subscribers, country, visits, likes, comments, you get it. In order to accomplish this, I added a column to the raw data, which I like to refer to as a helper column. This column is basically a formula that I add to my raw data that actually assists me with creating some sort of connection in the data. And so that's really what I've done here, and you just see I call it reference number. Step number 1 is to confirm the layout that you desire for your final summary. So as you can see here, on my columns, I have the video topics, and on the rows, I have the country. Now, why is this important? It's important because that reference number is what will be assigned to your column labels, okay? So you need to go ahead and identify your layout, and then you'll go ahead and set up your reference list. The reference list is what you would use as your table array in the VLookup formula that will pull in your reference number into your raw data. Let me show you what I mean. So here you see I've already completed the formula and added that, but what did I do? I added a new tab in my workbook called Key Pivot, okay? I created a pivot table using my raw data. So in this particular example that you'll see, the column that I wanted to create a reference for was the categories of column, okay? So I then went to my raw data, and we'll duplicate that action here. Within my raw data, I went to Insert Pivot Table. We'll go to Existing Sheet. We're gonna click on that key pivot, and I'm gonna hit OK. So to get the list that you're seeing here with the video categories to the left, all I did was add the categories to the rows field in the pivot table field options. And the reason why I did this is because I wanted to create an unduplicated list of my categories. And in this next step, I'll show you why I needed it and how I used it. Now that I have that pivot, I'm gonna go on to step 2. And that is to actually assign a number to each item. So what I did is I just copied, I took my pivot table, I copied that list, I brought it over here, I pasted it, and then I went ahead and assigned a number to each item on my list. So when it comes to this particular formula combination that we're gonna work with today, which is a combination of VLookup and HLookup to find those intersections, you're going to start with the number 2 as your first reference number. And you will always start with 2 because as you can see here, your column labels that you assigned a reference number to don't actually exist in the entirety of your data until the second column within your summary, because your first column is reserved for your row labels. So we're gonna go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm gonna stop there because once I get there, I go here and I'm gonna double click on this little square. It's gonna copy my numbers down in sequential order. So double click. Now let's navigate to our raw data tab, and we're gonna use the VLookup formula as you see here on the screen to pull in those reference numbers into our raw data. Now we're gonna go ahead and create a pivot. I have the countries listed here, and then I have the categories listed here. Again, this mirrors exactly how I want the data to appear on my summary. That is very important. Those categories are in alphabetical order, and therefore my numbers are in numeric order. I wanted to show you what data you're gonna input for your VLookup versus the data that you're gonna input for your HLookup. So for VLookup, this is the section that I wanna reference in the formula as my range, A4 to G30. For my HLookup, B2 to G30. One thing I want to show you here is the importance of resetting your filters whenever you add a column to a data set, okay? What do I mean? So I told you that I added this helper column for reference number, but when I added that, the previous data already had filters, you see here? So what I need to do, because I added a new column, is I need to go ahead and reset those filters. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight all my new filters, including my reference column. I'm gonna unclick filter on the data tab, and I'm gonna click that again. That is very important, because if for any reason I come here and I resort this data because I want to see a specific record, if I do not add this reference column as a filter, then my data will actually be out of whack completely. And we always want to avoid any chances of messing up our raw data. Now that we've set everything up, I'm going to show you how this all comes together, how you benefit from it, and why I love to use it, because it literally saves you time. Another thing that I really try to avoid in any projects that I'm working on is human error. I really like for things to be automated